Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I want to say sorry to, I'm not sure, I don't have your particular name pulled up, but sorry for not getting the video out on the 18th like I'd said. My internet was actually down for the last 2 days and I finally got it fixed today, thank goodness, because I actually had a private reading scheduled for today. So, this is going to be in regards for the summer solstice as requested. I'm glad it's still at least a day out. If you're new to my channel, guys, my name is John, and please feel free to subscribe, like the video, even share it. It really helps me and motivates me a lot to see that I'm getting views out there and likes on the video. Not to mention, it also helps bump up the traffic with them, with other people finding the videos. So if you hear anything or like the content on this channel, please leave a like. It helps a ton. As well, if you guys are interested in booking private readings or anything like that, the information will be listed in the links below in the description. Yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna hop into the cards. Oh, also to answer a question about my dog. Yes, I still have her. She's doing great. She just got back from the vets. She had a little bit of a rash going on, but she's all good now. So, I hope I answered everybody's questions that I might have missed on my channel while I was away from town. Love the comments, guys. It really keeps me motivated. And yeah, I've been feeling a lot of heavy energy kind of lately. Just between the two sides of it, you know, between the divine masculine, divine feminine. I feel like right now everybody's in kind of this weird, I gotta get last minute shit done, because I feel like there is a lot of unions that are probably about to occur with within the next several months. Just kind of looking at how the world is working and some of the craziness that's going on there. Part of our mission, obviously, is to help progress the planet into a state of love, as being a twin flame and having your soul mission and soul purpose. So, you know, as you see kind of the chaos and everything like that, you know, be kind of starting to buckle down in your fields and knowing your soul mission. If you still don't know your soul mission, talk to other twins, you know, leave a comment on here, and help each other out. We got to start uniting and start really bringing that front together so we can start making these positive changes for the planet's sake. I think we're gonna, well, do another combined reading here. I do want to also do the pick of cards. I was hoping to actually have 2 videos out this week, but I don't think that's going to be a thing because I work the next couple of days. With that being said, I have been kind of going through some depression states lately, just over the last several months with my injuries and everything like that. I've really kind of gotten down and whatnot, and I am actually really excited. I think I have found a treatment option for me, and it may take me out for a week or so to get that taken care of and kind of go through that process. We'll see how I feel with it, but I'm ultimately really excited, more or less. So don't feel down for me or anything like that. I'm more excited than anything else. Alright, so headspace, heart space, likely outcome, combined likely outcome. Headspace, heart space, likely outcome. Divine feminine over here, divine masculine over here. This is kind of weird because my camera is totally flipped, but it will work. So, let's see what we got here. Page of Swords, the Tower, and the Devil. Holy hell, divine masculine. Alright. Divine feminine, Queen of Swords, 4 of Pentacles, and Death. So, I guess not a huge surprise, as I was already talking about pretty heavy energies here. it is what it is. So let's just read it, right? So the Page of Swords in the headspace for the Divine Masculine. This is gonna be weird because I'm totally reading left to right in person, but on the camera it's gonna look backwards. Let me see if I can change that real quick. There we go. All right, cool. I'm sure I just blew somebody's mind out there that wasn't watching the entire thing and was just listening to my voice. Come back to that. All right. Well, headspace, heart space, likely outcome, divine masculine. Headspace, heart space, likely outcome, divine feminine, and then combine likely outcomes here. So, for the Page of Swords in the headspace, that talks about kind of going through maybe a little bit of some immature, kind of troubling times, some tumultuous times. This can be with other people. This can just be general life experiences with it being in the headspace. But ultimately, it really speaks of kind of going through a bit of turbulence that really lacks maybe the full depth of maturity there. So this can be little problems, or this can be immature reactions to problems. However that is, but kind of how they're confronting that, right? In the heart space, we have the Tower. The Tower talks about ripping foundations all the way to the ground. It's always brutal. The Tower is one of those cards that I'm never excited to have show up in my reading or on my side, and as I've been relating a lot more with the Divine Masculine lately, this talks about tearing down, the foundations, beliefs, old systems, or faulty beliefs or faulty feelings of the heart. This can be in relation to other people. This can be in relation to the Divine Feminine. It really can be anywhere, just kind of depending on where this person's at in their life. But the important part and the good part about the Tower is that as you're tearing down the shit that basically doesn't work, you're allowing yourself a new foundation to build things correctly. So as things may not have worked or have been in chaos or in trouble, sometimes you have to remove some of that debris out of the way in order to rebuild something that's going to work. The likely outcome, the Devil. The Devil talks about codependency, addictions, really chains of bondage and being held to situations. With that being in the outcome position, it'll be interesting to see what kind of clarifiers we get with that. This can be something that the Divine Masculine works on, or this can be something that they need to acknowledge. This can be something that they just play out and cave to some of their more addictive traits or codependent situations, things like that. The Queen of Swords in the headspace. This shows that the Divine Feminine is taking a very logical and driven kind of approach to her mind. She's feeling in control, yet not so overly emotional. So this can be really a place of kind of being guarded, especially in the heart, but really driven. And I'm going to be curious as to kind of see how the clarifying cards show up for this as well. But with the heart space, we have the Four of Pentacles, and the Four of Pentacles is them holding on to something. This can be them really holding on to the idea of love, or holding on to what they know love should be, holding on to something in their heart. They're holding it near and dear, and they're keeping it close, and even protected to a certain degree, represented in this card, as you see that they have a pretty tight grip on it here in this picture. The likely outcome, death. So death here is not necessarily a bad card by any means, because sometimes things have to leave in order for new beginnings to come, or new starts to be had. There has to be space made in order for the progression of life's events. There's only so much time in a day allotted for whatever the case may be, you know. So if you have 24 hours in a day, and you're spending 10 of it, you know, at work, or, you know, in between, like, you know, driving to work, driving home from work, lunch break, so on. And, you know, you have 4 hours left in your day before you need to be to bed, or I'm just making up time frames here. But, you know, if you're filling up your time with a whole bunch of different stuff, and you're not making space or way for either your soul mission or the real reconnection of your twin, because you have somebody else in that position, and you're not really trusting in the path, something might need to end in order for you know, God's plan essentially to come in and play out along the soul contract, and for your own best interests, really. So we'll see what we have show up here. Six of Wands. Combined likely outcome between the two of them. We have victory. So victory typically with the Six of Wands comes after a time of conflict. So the Five of Wands is all about the conflict, trials, you know, arguments, petty fights, things like that. The Six of Wands is overcoming that and proceeding forward. It has a connotation of movement and progression, as well as having victory over those sorts of outcomes. I did pre-shuffle and pre-pray, if anybody was just curious. I am pretty good about that. Like 95% of the time, and every now and again I'll forget, and then I'll have to do it on camera, or stop midway through or something like that, or even restart the entire reading. I feel like it's just important to show that sort of, you know, gratitude, respect, and everything like that to calling on to get information from above. So all right. Okay, so in the headspace for the Divine Masculine, we have the Page of Swords with the Devil, and to me, this can really represent a lot of things, especially with the Devil over here. But really, this kind of almost comes across as a person that may have somebody feeling trapped. You know, that there's been some immaturity, or that there's been a lack of understanding, but they feel chained to a specific situation or specific kind of setting. This can really reflect some codependency, because there's a lack of maturity in a situation that I guess really they would know they need to leave. That's not going to be in their best interest. It's on their mind, and they already know that this person isn't going to be the best for them. Yet there's a level of codependency, maybe seduction with it, really. And to me, it's almost like this seduction comes at this cost of kind of feeling turbulence and feeling the pressure of either fights or arguments, or something like that. Or there's just, it doesn't sit right. They know logically that whatever is going on in their head with this other person has some major red flags and has some warnings to it already showing up. There's either some level of codependency or abuse, whether that's with drugs, alcohol, or just emotionally, verbally, whatever. There's some level with this person that they know that it's not in their best interest. I definitely can relate with that, as I know that there's a person out there right now that I'm already seeing red flags with them, and I know that they're interested on some level with me, but it just, the warning signs are there, and I can tell that it would only lead to fights and problems and codependency, really. The Tower with the Wheel of Fortune. This to me kind of represents maybe the changing of tides between the Tower. So as everything has been feeling chaotic and crazy and feeling like it's being ripped down and torn down, that season, that time frame is probably coming to an end here with the summer solstice, as they're kind of been going through the chaos of feeling the heart being torn in every which direction, and the chaos of faulty foundations coming down and feeling like, why do I have to rebuild again? You know, it's saying that, hey, you're on the right track. Things are coming to an end. This was part of the lessons. This is part of the process. You had to go through this in order to actually build the situation correctly. And this is really a closing of that chapter of feeling like everything's falling apart. The sun will come out again tomorrow, kind of feeling with these two here. The likely outcome, the Devil with the Three of Wands. So the Three of Wands is all about movement forward and kind of overcoming something, or waiting for the ships to kind of come in. Whatever you've been sending out in the universe, it comes back, via the law of attraction. So to me, this is almost like, have you been playing with fire, and then are you going to get burnt because you play with fire? Or are you aware that this is fire? Have you learned your lesson? Can this come to a close, and can you move away from it? Can you proceed in a different direction from that area? So we'll obviously get clarifiers on all this for the Divine Masculine, but to me, this could be an action phase of breaking chains, moving away from addictions, moving away from situations that they know aren't healthy, and starting to proceed in a different direction. With the Queen of Swords and then the Knight of Swords, we have the Knight of Swords showing up again in the Divine Feminine's reading, which she showed up there last in the last reading. That really talks about, kind of some chaos and moving really quickly and abruptly, and sometimes that having not so great consequences, because all of a sudden you're way down a path that you didn't plan for, and it having the consequences for moving too quickly, not planned out, and having the chaos of that. The Four of Pentacles in the heart space with the Star. So this really reads to me a lot of like holding on to hope, especially in the heart space, saying, hey, as worn out and as tired as I am, and as long as the struggle has been, and as much as, I want to give up some days, I'm still holding on. I'm still having hope that there was a reason, there's a purpose behind all of this. That I'm going to have the meaning coming to me, and that I'm capable of holding on to this love, because I know that this is a sacred love that I truly cherish. It's maintaining that hope and maintaining that, wishing on stars kind of optimism that's really represented here. So it's a lot of holding on to hope, holding on to faith, and proceeding forward with that in their heart. And then we have the likely outcome is death with death. But I think that this is important, that it's two different symbolizations of death. So while this one is more like the representation of like, end of times, apocalyptic, pale horse coming in and totally killing off something. Um, this one represents that rebirth that I was talking about here. Death is represented pregnant. Pregnancy obviously is the rebirth of something. So this is to me almost like this representation of, as something's dying, something is, it's making way for something new to come in. It's making way for, a new beginning, a new life, as everything is closed out in some other sort of chapter. So really moving away from whatever has not been serving the heart and in its best interest, or whatever's been not serving the divine feminine in their best interest, whether that's career, relationships, self-sabotaging behaviors, whatever the case may be. It's letting go of something, an old mindset, an old idea, a old whatever, and making space for this new thing to come in and begin that belongs there. And I have a feeling there's gonna be a lot of death and rebirth over the next couple of months for the divine feminine. New locations, new faces, new people, but really as part of getting this, twin flame collective into this next phase of where we're going here, in spreading this unconditional light and love, there's got to be a lot of death and rebirth, and that to me really falls a lot on the divine feminine side of things. As much as people want to say, well, we're working towards balance and everything, which is correct, but it doesn't remove the archetypes in which we currently are. And the divine feminine is always going to be that role that is that more nurturing, more caring, and spreading of that unconditional love and light. Not to say that the divine masculine doesn't also play that role. It's just two different archetypes, right? So oh yeah, I should totally touch on this. The likely outcome between the two of them, for both sides, how they're gonna basically match each other, have the duality show up in their life. Whatever representation of duality is likely to occur between both of them. I think that's probably something that I should clarify when I'm saying the likely combined outcome. It's really kind of this line of like duality of what to expect between the two as you go through each of your own storylines, and play that out. What makes it a twin flame connection, it is really in this duality of like, I moved left and you moved left. That's weird. I bought a house, you bought a house. XYZ kind of occurrences. Or, hey, how did we both end up here at the same time, same place, same space, kind of thing. Same mindset, same experiences. That sort of gig. I don't know why this last card doesn't want to come out. There we go. So yeah, let me touch on this here first before we move on to this other row. So the victory and success is going to be more predominant in both people's home life. So as they kind of work through whatever this energy is and this energy is here, the place that they'll probably both see the victory and success is having more fulfilling and more abundant home life, a more peaceful home life, more prosperity there, and feeling comfortable, relaxed, feeling like things aren't so on edge, and that maybe they can have a bit of time to breathe for themselves, you know, as they've been kind of working towards, you know, securing that sort of a situation. And I know that the home life can be a very difficult situation for a lot of people, you know, especially the people I talk to in my private readings. A lot of people have situations where they're either married to somebody else, or they have some sort of significant other, or some live-in arrangement, or their home life situation just isn't comfortable for whatever reason. And to me, working through all of this is going to bring in the balance of feeling like they might have a little bit of breather, a little bit of time at home where they're not feeling so like, oh my God, I'm constantly in my head feeling, you know, this and this, you know, even if it is just an escape for a little bit, having that time to kind of relax and reflect on everything is hugely important. So, Page of Swords with the Devil. So the awareness that some sort of connection out there, some sort of person that they've been having issues with, turbulence, arguments, you know, even if it's passive arguments or a lack of conversation, lack of connection, you know, or just really that there's a bunch of red flags. We have the Eight of Pentacles to me under this in the headspace. So this is them, you know, saying, hey, I see the signs, I see the warning signs, I know this person, and I'm going to keep my head down and keep on working. I'm going to continue to progress my life. I'm not going to get caught up in this trap here. And that's really what we're seeing also over here, which is nice, because that's kind of what I was talking about with the devil. So it's almost like more clarification here of how to go about it, and that is to continue to progress the soul path, the soul mission, and you know, even if that's just literally going to work to avoid, you know, XYZ person, situation, addiction, whatever. It's really just continuing to follow the path and not allowing any sort of distractions to come through from this person or this situation. And to kind of keep their head down, so to speak. So, underneath the heart space with the Tower and the Wheel of Fortune, we have Justice showing up here. So, obviously, this reads a lot about like a lesson to me, some sort of lesson for the Divine Masculine, as to, hey, you've been tempted, you've been seduced, you've been tricked or whatever into going down this path with this person, right? And you've recognized it for what it is, and instead of playing into it and you know, having something like the Seven of Swords show up, or having something like the Lovers, or the Two of Cups, or the Three of Cups, you have the Eight of Pentacles show up. And because of that, you're going to receive Justice here, which is the closing of this chaotic time and the heart space for the Divine Masculine. You know, closing up this faulty foundation and bringing in the karmic balance, because they're making the right choice ultimately along the lines to proceed away from something that they know is not going to be healthy or work for them long term, or that it's not a part of their soul mission. You know, that sort of recognition, even if they're not on that page of understanding that it's their soul mission, or they have a soul purpose or a soul contract, it's still them moving in the right direction and picking what's best for them, which is ultimately still part of this entire journey, right, of self-love. So with that, we have the Knight of Pentacles here underneath the Three of Wands and the Devil. And that talks about, you know, really having a grounded, three-dimensional process of what they want to do in order to proceed forward. You know, getting their ducks in a row and saying, hey, I need, you know, XYZ amount of money. I need you know, this level of physical fitness. I need, you know, this sort of house situation. I need whatever in order to be presented. This promotion at work. You know, it all is gonna depend on who this resonates with, but there's some level of them needing to get, you know, their life in order to proceed forward slowly, cautiously, and to make sure that this can arrive on time, you know, at the exact right time, but securely, so it doesn't just fall apart, so it doesn't just, you know, land at the feet and, you know, crumble back into another tower kind of situation. With the Queen of Swords and the Knight of Swords, they're presented with the Seven of Cups in the headspace. So this is them being, you know, charging through a situation, charging through whatever, and being confronted with multiple options, multiple choices. It's a state of illusionary, like an illusionary state of not knowing which path to go, which one's going to take them to the right place, and what ultimately is the right choice for the path. Which is why, you know, they may be charging through it, because they're trying to cut away a lot of the, you know, more bullshitty options. They're not investing time into stuff that's not going to serve them in their best interest. As they're kind of almost stuck. It's like they're running through it, and they're probably gonna have to go through a few different cups in order to pick out which one is the right one. But they're doing it quickly, but it might feel chaotic. It might feel really fast, and like there's a lot of stuff just happening mentally. Under the heart space here, with the kind of holding on to hope, there's a new idea that's going to come through here. And I feel like the new idea comes through after they've really been faced with this Seven of Cups, and go through the trials of the Seven of Cups. You know, that emotional pathway of, you know, which path is going to get me to where I want to go, and which cups are just going to lead me to, you know, more bullshit, more of the same, more chaos, you know, whatever. But as they eventually figure out, you know, which cup is the right cup for them to pick and go with, I feel like they have a breakthrough come through in the form of a new idea, a new thought process, a new enlightenment. Maybe a new secret gets revealed, or a new revelation comes out about whatever situation they're holding on to hope here. So they're going to have some sort of breakthrough. And this could go backwards too. This heart space could actually be what leads to a new idea, which helps them clear the Seven of Cups. So it could go either way. But the new birth, the new start over here, that, you know, with whatever ends, so something new can begin. The new thing that begins is the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands really speaks highly to kind of a lighter communication. Learning maybe how to talk with some passion, but yet still keeping that passion and desire on the lighter side. A more, I'm not feeling immaturity, but kind of younger in the sense of how the conversation would play out. I feel like this is going to resonate for a few people, but not everybody, so take what resonates and leave the rest. But I'm getting kind of the phrase to, you know, be a little bit more hip with the conversation, or something like that, you know. That kind of energy. So that's the likely outcome here. Something ends, something new starts. Some sort of new understanding in the heart space is going to be able to lead to how you can confront conversations, how to speak to one another, how that basically occurs, how it should look, how it should feel, how it should play out. Because I feel like so oftentimes we run into our twins, right? Or we have a conversation with our twin after, you know, XYZ amount of time, and all of a sudden it goes from I love you, I miss you, or you know, like I miss you, it's glad to hear from you, or I'm happy to hear from you, to all of a sudden just heaviness. It's just like all this heaviness and burden from the past that just kind of comes out, and it like needs to be vented out. But as it happens, it's one of those things that can cause triggers to basically play back out, and as soon as your situation starts, it's almost over again. Because there's not a way to let go of that, and all of a sudden it's just like, well, I don't want to be back where I was. I don't want to repeat the same vicious cycle. So maybe there's a level of even understanding here. A level of understanding that there's this mutual passion, a mutual desire, and how to be able to effectively communicate that without going way head over heels, you know, 0 to 120 in you know 5 seconds or something like that. So the likely outcome between the two of them, and then the duality that plays out as they're having victory over their home space, and they're starting to regain either control or comfort, or even whether that's financial security, whatever. They have the Seven of Pentacles showing up here, and this is a time to continue to grow, that level there. So whatever is making your home space feel more secure. If you notice that all of a sudden you have been able to get away for a weekend, and maybe away from either roommates or a significant other that's not your twin or something like that, and that all of a sudden that really is calming your heart, or calming your mindsets, things like that. Or maybe your significant other leaves or something like that, or work related. However this plays out, or whatever this means to you, you know, it's telling you to continue to grow that. So if that means taking time away from somebody, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my god, I feel like I have a breath of air finally, continue to take that time away. You know, make it happen more often. Start that pace, you know, of whatever that looks like. If this means that, hey, I went out and I worked an extra day this week and I made more money and now I'm feeling a little bit more confident in my paycheck, continue to grow that. See what else you can do, whether that means start your own thing or look for odds and ends jobs or whatever the case may be. But it's continuing to grow whatever is making this feel successful and be able to get out there. So I hope that helped you guys for this summer solstice. I hopefully I can do another video tomorrow. I want to do the pick of cards just because it was requested and it does sound fun to me. If you guys think that sounds like a fun idea, feel free to leave some comments also saying that. If you have other ideas or other things that you want to see on the channel, feel free just to leave a comment there and I will try and get back to you with a message just kind of on how I feel about that subject and whether or not I think we can make a video on it. Again, guys, if you've made it this far, a like on the video would be greatly appreciated. It really helps me get my videos out there. So take it easy.